We are on the record in 2022 TR 3021, State of Kansas versus Brian Edward Halbert. Please announce appearances.
Eric Regier on behalf of the state.
May it please the court, Mr. Halbert appears via Zoom with counsel Kevin Zolator. And Your Honor, I will tell you, we are prepared to proceed with a plea and sentencing this morning on a DUI. We have sent the evaluation to the court. I don't know if you got it this morning. And I did send it when I saw Mr. Regier on here over to him. I had sent it to Mr. Sweeney this morning. I don't know if you want to put this at the end of the docket so you guys have time to review that, or if you have reviewed it, if you're ready to proceed at this time.
I do have that. If you'll just give me a few more minutes or just even less than that.
Mr. Regier, I don't know if you have it, but I've sent you an email or forwarded an email from Mr. Sweeney regarding the offer. It's just for the minimums.
Very well, I think we can proceed. He does have the one count of DUI. Second, I see in his evaluation, he did have a prior diversion. So I understand he's going to be under a plea. Do you want to put your plea agreement on the record before he does?
Are you asking me, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes, that's fine. It's just we plead to the sole count of DUI, and the state and defense will be recommending the minimum sentence be imposed in this case, a year of probation, follow the recommendations of the evaluation, court costs.
Okay. And Mr. Regier, is there anything about that that you'd like to comment on?
Your Honor, if I could have a quick 30 seconds to review some updated information on this matter.
Very well.
Your Honor, I believe I am prepared to proceed at this time.
And that is your plea agreement?
Your Honor, at this time, the state is prepared to follow the plea agreement as previously outlined by communications between counsel and my office.
Very well. Mr. Halpert, how do you plead then to count one, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs after a prior conviction?
You'll need to unmute Mr. Halbert. Guilty.
By guilty, you wish to admit that you did drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs after prior conviction? Is that correct? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone making you enter this plea today by any kind of threat or promise other than what may have been agreed to between you and your attorney in the state?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if I accept your plea, then you are giving up your right to trial as well as your right to appeal your conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
And that this is a Class A non-person misdemeanor with a mandatory must serve minimum 5 days in jail?
I believe I was told 2 days with house arrest.
And that is an option?
Okay, yes. Yes, I do.
All right. Now tell me, did this happen on September 8th, 2022, like the state alleges?
Yes.
And where were you? It says in Butler County, where were you when this happened?
At a gas station. I do not recall which one.
Do you remember what town?
El Dorado.
El Dorado. You were definitely in the city limits of El Dorado?
I would have meant yes.
And tell me in your own words what you were doing that made you driving under the influence. What were you under the influence of? How'd you get that way?
Alcohol.
Okay. What had you been drinking?
Too much alcohol.
Okay. What kind of alcohol were you drinking?
Beer.
Beer. Okay. And what was it about this beer that made you unable to drive safely in a vehicle?
Had too much.
Okay. Were you swerving or doing anything? Did you have a crash?
No, ma'am. I
Did
was
you take-
stopped at a gas station.
Did you take a breath test or any kind of test?
Field sobriety test.
Okay, I take it you didn't do so well on those?
I suppose not.
Okay. And then you had at the time, you had a prior conviction for DUI that may have been diverted August 14th, 2017 out of Mulvane Municipal Case, number 17-250.
Correct.
All right, Mr. Regier, is there anything else you want to say about the factual basis? Not saying you have to, just asking if you wanted to say.
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I think the court has already covered pretty much everything at this point.
All right, we will proceed to sentencing then. I understand the agreement is for a $750 fine. What is the controlling term that's being recommended?
Your Honor, with all due respect, this case is charged as a Class A. I believe that calls for an slightly elevated fine of $1,250 statutorily.
You are right. Thank you for pointing that out. 1,250. And are you recommending the 12 months or something other than that for controlling term?
Your Honor, pursuant to plea, the state would recommend a 1-year underlying sentence as well as 1 year of probation. I do not know if counsel and Mr. Sweeney discussed the type of probation, but at this point, the state would be recommending reporting probation for the 1 year period with a $60 probation fee, costs and fines, as well as house arrest as allowed by law.
Anything further you'd like to say, Mr. Zolator, before I pronounce the sentence?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask that you allow him to serve the 5 days with 48 hours followed by house arrest. I have spoken with Mr. Halbert, and he would like, if the court would allow him to schedule that, he would turn himself in on September 5th and start his 48 hours at that time. I have not done that many of these in front of you, Your Honor, so I'm not sure how that works. But if that's an option, that's what he would like to do, is schedule that. The correspondence I have from Mr. Sweeney is the state did not object for him to be able to do that and then go on reporting probation. And the only thing I would add is obviously you need a word that he's got the evaluation done, that he followed the recommendations, which is level 1 outpatient.
All right, Mr. Halbert, do you work?
No, ma'am.
And why are you not working?
I don't have a good answer to that.
So who supports you then if you don't work?
Family, my mother.
Do you live with your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're how old?
34.
Do you have a high school diploma?
Yes, ma'am.
Any advanced training, technical school, college, anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Any job experience?
Yes.
What's your job history like?
Casinos, table games dealer.
Okay, but I saw in your evaluation, you haven't done that since 2017. Are you able to do that with these DUI convictions?
I believe, yes.
Okay, so why have you not even done that since 2017? It looks like you did it for several years.
I did. Yes,
Can you go back to that?
I could.
Just don't want to?
It's complicated.
Well, your fine will be the minimum required by law for a second-time DUI, which, as Mr. Regier stated, is $1,250. Your jail sentence will be 1 year. You will be responsible for court costs of $108. If you're not willing to work, I don't think you're going to be able to pay your fines and costs. I don't think you're going to be able to pay for your outpatient treatment. It seems to me that if you want probation, you need to get a job. Is that going to be something you can do?
That would be fair. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I will give you a 12-month reporting probation to be supervised by court services, which will add a $60 supervision fee. I'm going to order that you pay at least a 1/12 of the total money due each month by the end of the month. I'll let you start making your first payment the end of September. I used to say the last business day, but you can actually pay online. So by September 30th, you have to have your payment, your first payment of 1/12 paid, either with the clerk of the district court or with the website of paykscourts.com, which probation can give you again. Immediately after this hearing, call your probation officer. Do you have a pencil to take down their number?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you write that down or was your mom taking it down for you?
She was. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think you need to kind of start getting a little more independent.
Yes, ma'am.
You do have to complete a DUI victim panel. I don't know if you did that the first time around, but you're going to. And you're going to get the appointment for that set up within 7 days. I don't expect you to do it within 7, but you need to be making the appointment within 7. Likewise, I will let you do the first 48 hours in jail, followed immediately by house arrest for the remainder of the 3 days, 72 hours. Now, since you don't work, you're not going to be leaving that house. I don't know how much you leave it anyway, but you do not leave it at all unless it's a medical emergency. You must have electronic monitoring. And this has to be started. I'll let you start at that September 5th date. And is that a Friday?
Your Honor, if you're asking, I'm sorry, the Tuesday.
Tuesday. All right. What time do you want to start that?
Noon is fine for me.
All right. Noon. Be there at noon, not 1 minute later. Have a photo ID September 5th. And then already have your ankle monitoring people ready to come put that on you as soon as you get out, because I want you to go directly from jail to home and finish it up without any breaks in between. You must comply with your evaluation from a clear direction. And that does say that you need to complete a level 1 outpatient treatment for a minimum of 12 weeks. But you do your jail time and then get that started. Schedule that within 7 days too, but make sure that they know you have to do your jail time first, which I'd be surprised if they could get you in before then anyway. But oh, okay. You worked at Kansas Star for what, 6 years? And then you worked from 2018 to 21 at First Council? Is that right?
Correct. Sounds correct.
So you did work for quite a while, but I don't know whether you're going back to that work or not. I don't want you around a lot of alcohol and drugs, and I don't know what that environment entails, but talk to your probation office. It is a condition of your probation that you get a job and you keep a job.
Yes, ma'am.
And all standard conditions apply. Mr. Zolator, is there anything else I need to address from the defense?
If you could just clarify, are you saying he is allowed or is not allowed to work at a casino due to the environment there? I was just confused as what.
Well, I'm going to leave that up to his probation officer, because I don't know if he has a job that puts him around a lot of alcohol or temptations, or if he's not allowed to drink while he's at work. So that will be at the discretion of the court service officer.
Okay, so he's not prohibited, it's just up to the discretion of probation.
Correct.
I have nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Regier, anything further from the state?
I do not believe so, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Halbert, I wish you the best, that you go out there and get back into life instead of just hanging out there with mom, okay? Not that she's probably a lovely lady, but you need to learn some independence. She might need to lean on you someday. Mr. Deputy, does he need processed?
Well, he'll get that when he gets
When he
goes out to the jail. I just wanted to confirm he's serving 48 hours in jail, followed by 72 hours house arrest. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And that's
Your
immediate.
Hon-
Yes.
Your Honor,
you're-
on the issue of processing, it looks like this defendant is currently on a 1,500 professional surety bond, so I'm not sure if
Okay.
that is the court or not.
Very good. All right, then, Mr. Halpert, you are excused on the condition that you call your probation officer immediately.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And Mr. Zolator, anyone else on the docket?
That's all I had, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Then you both are excused. Any other defense? Oh,